Well, welcome everybody to Inspired Conversations podcast show with Kim Evans. This is such an awesome moment because we are at the end of 2021. For those of you who have been following me on my podcast show, Inspired Conversations, thank you so kindly. Just been so blessed. We started with the best. We're going to end with the best. So this is the last week before we launch into 22. And I'm so delighted to have this young lady with me here today as we're going to be talking about mindfulness. Oh my goodness, OMG, Miss Leema Pasha. I am so excited and welcome to Inspired Conversations.
Thank you so much for having me, Kim. I am excited to be here at this pivotal moment at the end of the year.
Yes. Well, let's get to it. We have a lot to talk about in this short moment today. So before we begin, those of you who always know, I always love to start my podcast show just with a quick little blessing. I hope that's okay with you, Miss Leema.
Yes.
All right, we're going to get to it. We just want to honor and we just want to welcome in the Holy One. Oh my God, getting us through this whole entire year, 2021. We're going to usher in the universe. We're going to usher in God, the Spirit. And we just want him to take full force of control of this podcast. So I thank you, God. I thank you for the power that you are, for your omnipotent, for just your potency, for just being God. We just give you all the honor just to getting us through a year 2021 and ushering us into 2022. We thank you for our wonderful guest, Ms. Leema Pasha, for her skill, her expertise, her education, and her knowledge of what she's going to share with us. And thank you, God, for giving me this voice, because without you, I am nothing. I want somebody to be inspired as far as the east, as far as the west, as far as the north, as far as the south. May you be inspired. May you be illuminated. May you be transformed. May you learn something and take away what we're going to share with you in this podcast. God bless all of you. And may you launch into a magnificent 2022. New year. All right, let's get to it. This is Kim Evans. I am a beauty, health, and wellness coach. I'm the owner of Two Gorgeous Integrated Spa of 25 years. I'm located in Lafayette, California. I'm also a business online consultant and holistic wellness coach. I'm so excited. This is my first year doing my podcast show, and it's been amazing. And we're about to hit the 40th show. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Miss Leema, but she's Leema Pasha. And I love her because she has her own business. She's an executive business coach and wellness consultant. And she has amazing information that she's going to share with us today. Miss Leema, are you excited about what you're going to share?
I am very excited. Timely information, and I just want to share it with the world so that we can continue to grow.
This is so timely because as we are exiting out of this whole pandemic, where corporations have actually pivoted to, we have the workforce, we have people working from home, we have executives that are team leading from home. This is actually a terrain that no one has walked before. And so when we talk about mindfulness as a tool of leadership, it's new a lot. We think of it in one dimension, but actually it can be used in multiple dimensions, and particularly the corporate structure. So before we get into that, I'm going to read just a little bit of information about you. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Leema Pasha is an executive wellness coach and business consultant who specializes in teaching women business owners and professionals how to manifest their wellness using mindfulness and personal development. That's a wonderful dynamic combination right there. She is a certified life coach and certified women's wellness advocate. She's also an organizational development consultant using the leadership test assessment along with mindfulness. And that's what we're going to get into today. Leema lends internal executive wellness campaigns, including walking groups and mindfulness workshops to support wellness within organizations. So companies, As we start 2022, you are going to be needing some speakers. I think you have one right here. Okay. She has demonstrated success in facilitating employee goals and key organizational initiatives with measurable results. Over the past 2 decades, she has led communications campaigns for $1 billion high-profile projects for both public and private sector organizations. Welcome, Ms. Leema Pasha, to the show, Inspired Conversations. Ms. Leema, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me, Kim. I am so inspired to be here on your show. And I know we're going to continue to grow from each other and elevate our audience. So I wanted to talk a little bit about mindfulness. I work specifically with women professionals and business owners. And I noticed that women are facing midlife burnout from a combination of the massive stressors that threaten our potential growth. So I specialize in teaching how to access your well-being and improve your leadership communication skills through mindfulness so you can go from drained to reclaimed. And communications is so important to me. My bachelor's degree is in mass communications and my master's is in business administration with an emphasis on strategic management. But I came to this field out of the need to really help with those communication skills. I know that we inherit our communication skills from our families. And unlike a physical trait that we can change, communications is something that we can improve. You know, if we have trouble leading in our communications with our coworkers or with our loved ones, and even if we have challenges with that positive communications that we need to display for ourselves, that's something that can be enhanced through mindfulness communications training. So I just wanted to continue to explore those pathways with you. Kim, do you want me to share a little bit about my story and what led me to become a business consultant?
That would be absolutely fantastic. Before we get into that, let's make sure that everybody is on the same page. When we talk about wellness, when we talk about mindfulness, let me just segue back just so that people understand. So we have mindfulness and there's multi-dimensions of mindfulness. People think that mindfulness is just, yoga or we're just meditating. Well, that's one form. There's multiple different dimensions of mindfulness. We have the physical, we have the mental, we have the emotional, we have the spiritual, we have the social, and we have the environmental. Me, myself, as a massage therapist, we heal on 4 levels. That's emotional. That's the spiritual. That is when we talk about the body, the mind, body connection. So when we talk about mindfulness, let's define that. Define that for me, just so that people that are listening, okay, how do we use that as a tool? But first, let's back up a little bit. Let's just define it. It's a very simple definition.
Yeah.
I'll let you go ahead and then I'll interject.
Mindfulness is understood as a presence and also just being aware of your environment and aware of the body that you're in without judgment. So when you are if you're outside, it allows you to see more clearly everything that's around you without allowing the day-to-day stressors to consume you. And there are some tools that you can use to tap into mindfulness, like breathing mindfully, being aware of your breath, like being aware of the stressors that are impacted upon you and allowing those stressors to not consume you, but to use them, the awareness through mindfulness to transform those stressors into something that can help you to improve and grow. So there are various tools that people use through mindfulness. There's the mindfulness breathing practice. There's mindfulness in being aware of different locations in your body, whether you're experiencing pain. It allows us to just be present in the moment and stop all the hurried, rushing, checking our cell phones. So when we talk about mindful communication, it's communicating with either yourself or others from a state of presence and focus where you can really understand.
So give me an example. We have a corporate woman. She's stressed out, suffering. I'm going to paint a slight avatar from burnout. She has a staff of 4 or 5 people that she's leading, and we're at a chaotic moment to where we're still having to struggle with the dynamics of employees staying at home, coming back into the workforce, and also being high producers and all the things that go along with that. So how can the tool of mindfulness actually be effective for a woman leader if she's leading a group? Just walk us through that, how that can be effective.
Okay, first of all, it's very important to tap into mindfulness for your own well-being first, because once you support your own well-being through mindfulness, then you can go that secondary level where you're communicating with others. So in order to tap into mindfulness, there's certain things that you do as far as being aware of your breath, the life force that supports you, that we practice belly breathing. And as we breathe, we focus on, I'm breathing in the moment, I'm breathing out the moment. So you're present, you're fully aware, you're not engaged in stressful situations that are not beneficial. And it allows you to see the big picture rather than just focusing on individual stressors. It helps you to concentrate, and it actually has been shown to increase the neural pathways in your brain. So when it comes to communicating with your teammates, being fully engaged and present, asking open-ended questions, and just listening from a place of non-judgment, because that will allow us to see if there's something further that needs to be investigated without the hurry and rush that we usually do when we're multitasking. So in mindful communication, you're trying to focus on one thing at a time and being fully present so that you can address that issue mindfully. And it reduces the need to repeat.
Right.
You don't have to go back and backtrack because you're fully present, you're fully engaged in the moment. Just imagine, being outside like a child. When they're outside, they're fully engaged, in the grass and the trees and everything, and not as distracted by, wondering what's next. So mindfulness allows us to tap back into that.
So do you find in the workforce, oftentimes corporate leaders are not engaged, that they're not really paying attention to, say, their team, therefore it's not being more cohesive. And so everyone really then doesn't have a strong type of camaraderie towards one another, because you actually, it depends upon how you led. So if you led with a good leader that's very focused and allow people to be heard and people to be seen. And so everyone here on this floor can be respected when you're having group meetings. And now everybody has an equal playing field to the table to bring forth their ideas, maybe their perceptions, changes, maybe disagreements, maybe where they want to improve culture space, or certain dynamics of what's going on to, projects that are coming down the pike, so that people can all feel that the group can feel equal. So I'm getting that's somewhat what you're saying with the mindfulness piece. And it's really important top down that the leaders practice that they're trained in that, then therefore they can execute better mindfulness amongst the whole total group.
Exactly. Yes. Studies have really found that the workforce has a big change when employees feel heard.
Yes.
And it reduces people from, someone can be having a serious problem, but they're afraid to bring it to their superior because they don't know that they'll understand. But once they experience the practice of mindful communication, then they're more open to talk because they feel heard and listened to.
That's very important. So, really interesting. You bring up very interesting points. So, I'm curious, Leema, how did you actually travel and how did you get into this space of mindfulness with your MBA background? How did you cross over to this?
Yes. So I worked in the public and private sector communications for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And my experience, I was supporting executives and as a communications manager and also staffing committees. I would work long nights and a lot of executive board meetings. And one day when I was heading into work for a typical day, my heart started racing, beating really, really fast, like my whole body was rocking. And instead of ending up at work, I ended up in an ambulance. So that was such a stressful moment for me. I couldn't breathe. They said my heart rate was 221 beats per minute and my respiration was low. And then I got to the hospital and had to take a shot of adenosine in order to slow down my heart rate and get it normalized. So from that day forward, I really vowed to kind of work on my own wellness and to support other women who may be experiencing the same thing. I got with a naturopath and I got a certification in women's wellness. I worked on improving my iron levels and releasing fibroids naturally. I changed my diet. It led me to a long, extensive study about mindfulness and other healing modalities that could support me in both my personal life and the workforce. So it just became something that I was led to and drawn to support both myself and others.
Mm-hmm. So we actually see your holistic wellness journey unfold as you are actually entertaining and working into the corporate structure. And it's beautiful how our story becomes our glory. That's our focus of, kind of sort of where we actually launch into our specialty. So as you were engaging and growing into this holistic journey of your health, as well as, trying to balance the corporate structure and with your job. So your next skill set, communication and being mindful. We do know that stress is the number one killer, silent killer, and it is very pivotal in the corporate structure. And so oftentimes we can suffer from anxiety or first level depression or stressors and such things that nature. And what we find that having a lifestyle of fitness and nutrition and holistic wellness actually helps to balance that. When it comes to communication in the workplace, mindfulness is also an additional tool. What was that pivotal moment where you said, okay, this tool right here, I'm going to master. This tool right here, I'm going to carry this back into the workforce as well as with my own private clients. This is my specialty. You actually just completed, and congratulations, a lunch and learn, 4-week lunch and learn. It was live on Facebook, where you incorporated the mindfulness, you incorporated the spirituality, you incorporated the holistic diet from your corporate background. It was beautiful. And the breathing and some techniques. Share with us the mindful piece of that structure that you actually shared through your 4-week program.
Yes. One of the tools that I saw as so important and transformative for me was something that I learned about watering the seeds of compassion. So it's a focus on looking at the things that are going to move you forward in your business or in your life versus focus on things that are going to continue to impede your growth.
Yes.
So that allows you to be present in the moment. It allows you to be more accepting and more self-aware. It doesn't push down any suffering that you have, but I saw that as a way to transform the suffering into something that could be more positive and healing. So throughout the process of the years of study and research that I did, from everything related to wellness, from the diet to exercises and things like that, mindfulness was the one lasting ingredient that really was transformative, because it deals with the mind and how, I was looking at how we only use about 10% of our brains. And with mindfulness, we have something available to us where we're actually training our minds. And we're not, necessarily focused enough on that. But if we focus on training our minds to elevate our communication beyond that level that we inherit from our families, we can transform our lives. We can learn how to communicate with our coworkers. We can learn how to communicate with our loved ones. We can stretch and grow from the expansion of our mind to the expansion of our lives. So to me, that's where it starts. I looked at other pathways, and when I delved deeply into mindfulness, that's where I just saw the most leverage, especially with my background in the communications. So wanting to really help people elevate their leadership communication skills to that next level. And I just see it as being so transformative for us as a people in all aspects of life. It'll start from the business and then into the home and the loved one, but it can help you. That's that one piece that I noticed, coming from a quiet family where we didn't necessarily express ourselves well. That was one thing that I always wanted to grow in. And when tapping into mindfulness allows me to help my well-being and my communications, that is something that I want to share with the world.
So how do we get executive leaders, women who suffer burnout in particularly, how do we get them to buy in to learning more about mindfulness as an effective tool?
Well, first of all, I think it starts with just self-awareness and finding out how mindfulness can help you as an individual. And once you are supported with mindfulness tools, then you'll see the richness and the growth from that. And then you can continue to explore it further. One basic thing that you can start out with is just the breathing practice, the belly breathing. And if you're having any aches and pains in your body, you can become aware of those pains as you're breathing. Become aware and non-judgmental. Because when we're acting on autopilot, moving fast throughout our day, we're not aware of things that are happening in our body, and we can let it go too long. But if we breathe into it, we're able to, release that stress and transform that stress into something that can, help us in the present moment instead of, just this hurried stress. I see
You need to
people
slow down.
reacting.
Actually need to slow down.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. So Leema, show us a step, show us a tool, show us a technique. Give us an example.
Okay. So for one example, I would suggest that, at least once a day, you find a quiet place or just, do belly breathing. And what we do is we breathe in through our nose while expanding our bellies. You fill your belly up like a balloon and you breathe in through your nose and you say, I am breathing in the moment. Okay. And then as you exhale, when your belly deflates, you say, I am breathing out the moment.
All right, let's do it. Let's practice. You can practice on me. Okay, so I am going to breathe in. And I say to myself, I'm breathing in the moment.
Breathing in the moment, yes. Breathing out the moment. Breathe in again, I am the moment. And breathe out, I am the moment. So that's just something that can allow you to just relax.
I think managers and executives need to do this before they start their meetings.
Right.
So, how many times, how many repetitions, how many times do we do this? This is nice.
I would say let it last for about 5 minutes, and as you practice more, you'll be able to do it longer, but it just allows you to be present in your body. Feel where you may have any tension that needs to be released. It's so powerful as a tool to release stress, release pain, and just open you up to that next factor that you may need to face. When you go into your communications team, you'll be ready. You'll be relaxed. You won't go in with that stress and hurried intention.
So question, you're in a meeting, it's a virtual call, and darts are firing. And you have people that are bickering. We all see that in some corporate meetings. And the actually energy is shifting. And everybody wants to speak at the same time. And no one is listening to one another. And we have the heat of emotions rising in the meeting, and it's really about to turn. So at that moment, how can an executive leader use mindful tool to bring the energy down and back to a homeostasis in that meeting at that moment?
Right.
Take us there.
For one thing is just that presence, to be aware of what's happening. You have to first take your breath, pause, and then look for the most positive place to interject. It comes from your presence, that mindfulness communication. So as you slow down your tone and verbiage, then you will be able to help others to focus one at a time, listen deeply and intently to your teammates, and let them know that they can only talk one at a time. But when you're listening to them, then that will slow down the fervor, because they know they don't have to rush and compete and stress out and be anxious, because they are being fully heard.
And that's pivotal, being able to be fully heard. But in order to be fully heard, we must be fully engaged. And before we are fully engaged, we must be self-aware. So self-aware, being fully engaged, now you heard. And so now we can be at this homeostasis. Very interesting. Mindfulness. this tool, I'm assuming, can be used in all relationships. So can this also be used in associates and friendships and business relationships and spouse relationships?
Yes, definitely. Especially that tool where we talked about watering the seeds of compassion,
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, especially with our loved ones, we focus sometimes on the negative, the things that we want to change about them. So instead of focusing on the negative or the things that you want to change, just focus on the present now. Here is what you have. It's all you have now. Just try to find something good and focus and elevate that because what you focus on will expand. And as a result, you will find that person to soften, or that relationship and that communications to soften enough so that it becomes easier to get to the root of whatever issue that you're trying to solve. It's not that you're skating around the issue, but you're doing it from a place of positivity, of nurturing, and of focusing on the things that are most elevated. I have another tool that I use with executives, and it's called the Leadership Leverage Chess Test, and it allows you to assess yourself, your own natural communication style. Okay. And that helps too, in combination with mindfulness, because once you know what type of communicator you are, or what type of communicator your teammates are, then you'll understand why they may be more quiet or more verbal in a meeting based upon their style, and you'll learn how to engage them in a more effective way. And
the tool, is that something that's a self-assessment, or is that something that the employees need to take on their own?
It's an assessment that I offer, so I can give you the link so that you can, so that people can take the assessment.
Oh, wow. How effective is that once you find out how your teammates are? Does it really open up an opportunity for you to really be more engaged with them?
Yes. It's been found to be very effective as a team building tool. There are 4 different performance styles that have been assessed. And this has been done through hundreds of years and was invented by a psychologist. But I've studied it with people on my team and noticed how accurate it is.
I'm interested. What are the 4 styles? What are the 4?
It's D for dominance, which is more of a leader, the one that has to be in charge.
Okay.
And then it's I for more of the extroverted, the outgoing interpersonal style. And then the S is stable, more of a stabilizer who just is more of a grounding person within the communications. And then C is conscientious. C, a lot of times, are the people who are more into systems or accounting or just more the strategy. But the S, the stabilizer, is more generally fit for the customer service roles and things like that. So, if you have someone who is in a D, a dominance role, doing something that is more of akin to systems, and then you could find out, why there may be more errors and things like that. So you can redisperse your team, and that helps to translate a lot of benefit for the bottom line, and also for your communications. You don't waste time with a lot of stressful communications.
A lot of fluff.
No,
you just get into it. So
right. And each of them communicate differently naturally. Some of the communication styles vary based on the leadership style. So definitely the I is a more of a talker, more social.
How long does it take you to do an assessment?
People can do it remotely. They answered a series of questions online. So it would take them about maybe 40 minutes to complete. But generally, it's better to have a consultant after they take it to review the results of the test, because it has a lot of different things about their values and communication styles. So
I think we're going to see a lot more deep dive into mindfulness because, the listening deeply, intensely is so important. Being able to slow down and to listen, water the seeds of compassion. That is so beautiful. Everybody wants to be heard. Every team member wants to be heard. Yes. Being present and knowing that people see you, you see them, and that you acknowledge them and you actually acknowledge their value. Everyone brings something to the team valuable. And, just being very positive and nurturing and engaging. And we're going to see the corporate culture change into this more and more and more. I'm very excited. And I know you are too, to be able to be at this pivotal moment of change and that you can go into corporations and share this. So what do you got, Ms. Leema, coming down the pike in 2022? Tell us about your coaching program. I think you're going to be launching something with the mindfulness. Tell us a little bit about that before.
Yes, definitely. So you have an opportunity to join me for our Executive Wellness Recharge on January 22nd.
Oh, and real quickly, let me also interject. We are live on YouTube. So any of you that are listening right now, please, if you have any questions for Ms. Leema, you can put them in the chat because I'm looking at the chat and I'll ask her. So please feel free to ask any question right now because we are live. Okay.
That's great. Yes. So my Executive Wellness Recharge, where I focus on mindfulness, especially for your well-being and your communications leadership skills. We're going to really dive deep into those on a full day workshop on January 22nd.
Okay.
So to find out more about that, you can follow me at Leema Pasha on YouTube and Facebook. And to book a strategy call with me, you can email me at leemapashamba@outlook.com. I'm also on LinkedIn at Leema Pasha. So, yes, just so many things coming up this year.
And so, I have to also ask you as we end out, how do you continue to practice your mindfulness?
Yes. So to me, the affirmations are very important. And that's one thing that I will work with people in the workshop with. The affirmations, the communications that we do with ourselves on a daily basis before we even get out of the door. That's going to trickle down to the positive communications and that positive aura presence that you generate to your workforce. So definitely the affirmations, definitely the breathing. The visualization to me is very important because it allows you to see the big picture. If I'm visualizing things daily on what is the big goal, little things might happen throughout the day. You might spill a cup of coffee or something like that, or, you might get stuck in traffic. Don't allow those things to get you off your pathway. Stay grounded, stay mindful, track back to your self-awareness and just continue, and we have to stay vigilant with our wellness. As Kim says, it is definitely a journey. It's not a one-stop shop. Once we discover the practices that work for us, we have to continue every single day. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing about mindfulness is, we talk about midlife burnout. Yeah. And I want to help you go from drained to reclaimed. So with mindfulness, you're actually improving your brain.
Yes.
Don't you want to improve your mind and your mind's capacity going forward?
I love that. I love that piece where you talk about improving your brain. We do need a lot of stability when it comes to that. Oh my gosh, eating for brain health too, as well as,
Yes.
is very important. But the mindfulness piece is such a wonderful tool to be able to execute, to use into your life every single day, because that would also affect your body, affects your wellness, affects your whole nutrition and everything, because it is a whole total mind body connection.
Yeah.
So Ms. Leema, is there any last words that you would like to share?
You touched on diet, and there's even mindful eating, like stop eating after a certain hour, think when you're putting food in your mouth, there's just so many different ways you can use mindfulness.
That's really interesting. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, and most people think that mindfulness just starts with diet and eating. And I'm so glad that that you're bringing it full force to that. You could use it as a tool when it comes to effective communication in the workforce. But mindfulness, when you're eating, absolutely right. Turn off all devices and just be present with your food. Food is that food. And so when you can really hone in on that, no devices, no cell phones, no computer, anything, is you and your food, and you're enjoying it and how it is nourishing your body. And as you said very, very clearly earlier, slow down. And when you slow down, you actually release enzymes in the saliva, right? For multiple main enzymes, and that helps to break down your food particles, which then helps to support the microbiome and the gut health. So mindfulness is an amazing tool on all levels.
Right.
Yes, totally. So I will actually list how people can get in contact with you. State one more time, Leema, when will your course be starting in January, and what's the name of it?
It's the Executive Wellness Recharge, and it's on Saturday, January 22nd. So it's a full day.
Okay, great. I am so excited. Well, thank you so much, Leema Parsha, for being a guest on the podcast show Inspire Conversations with me as we close out season 1 in 2021 and we launch into 2022. So may your business be very success, and the people and the lives and the corporations that you're going to touch. And anyone that actually needs to get in contact with me, my information is actually in the show notes. You can book a strategy call with me. And so I look forward to seeing all you guys at the top on the other side in 2022. And Miss Leema, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Kim. Wow. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much,
Happy
everybody.
New Year.
And a happy 2022 New Year. Bye.